what you're doing, so keep on moving. Got all my niggas like, hey, girl, I'm trying to loosen you. Half and half of that goose and juice. Baby, tell me what it's gonna be. Look at them sparks coming right now. Looking like the 4th of July. You're officially coming with me. You got that. You done drunk all you can drink. Your friends ain't.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope all of us belong a good condition. So here I am, Miftahul Jannah from 6D English Education Department. So here I am be a first person to open this video or these presentations because I have two friends of my group. There are Tiara Agustina and Purnawika Dwi. So we are from the A group. We want to present our material about storytelling as a method of EFL or English as a Foreign Language teaching. So keep watching this video, don't skip. You can understand it if you watch this presentation by us. Bye, check it out. Hello, we come to the introduction from storytelling. But before we see the PPT here, that we know storytelling is like familiar for us. It's like a story about past. So there is the definition about this. Storytelling, the art of narrating a tale from memory rather than reading, is one of the oldest of all art forms, reaching back to prehistoric times. So here the time is already past. Storytelling involves two elements, there is selection and delivery. Many EFL teacher or English as a Foreign Language teacher are interested in the storytelling as the resources in teaching. Successful storyteller choose the quiet story and must be a good performer. For delivery is crucial and requires both a preparation and rehearsal. Storytelling is the original form of teaching and has a potential of fostering emotional intelligence and help the child gain insight into human behavior. So here the definition we can take here, storytelling is some story that about already past. It's about legend or tale. The teacher tells to the students for the child can insight into human behavior. So this is the easy way to teach. Next, we come to the rational. It's why the reason we can just start telling. So here, based on Anderson 2005, as a matter of fact, some educators claim that the traditional reading skill time is difficult and actually even painful for many children. The students need to learn to listen, to speak, to read, and to write in a new language, often without exposure to English outside school. Because language is an interactive process, children learning a language need ample opportunity to interact in a meaningful, interesting context and play with the language. While developing vocabulary and structure, they need collaboration of their peers, teacher in creating meaningful context and negotiating meaning in the two contexts. That's all that I explained that from regional storytelling. So we come to the next about why tell story. Why? There are four reasons that I saw it. You can see on my PPT. So the first one is express the value, fear, hopes, and dreams. And the second one, storytelling is also a living art. And the third, motivating fun help develop positive attitude. And the last, can create a desire to continue learning. So there are four reasons. So the next material, that storytelling and the curriculum. Why? There are the three main dimensions in which story can aid to learning in whole school curriculum. So here there are three. The first one is story can be used to reinforce conceptual development in children. For example, color, size, shape, time, cause, and effect, and so on. And the second one is story are means of developing learning. And the third, carefully selection story can also be used to develop other subject in the curriculum. So here are the three main dimensions in which storytelling based on the curriculum. Okay, the last one from my explanations about storytelling and the syllabus. Concern essentially with the selection and grading of contents as storytelling. For example, if you are using a course book and you're teaching it, outer you have selection the language item you are going to teach and the order in which you introduce them. And syllabus is the most likely to include language functions and structure, vocabulary, pronunciation, and skill to be practiced. If you do not have to adhere rigidly to a course book, storybook can also be used a short basic syllabus in their own right, offering a novel alternative to course book. So that is way about it. So it's enough from me. So the next explanation from my friend Purnawika and Tiara Agustina. So let's show them. Just keep watching. Bye bye.
Selection. Many publishers produce simply-set storybooks, especially for children's learning English. However, there are many means-static storybooks written for English-speaking children, which are also suitable for those learning English, as they have not been written specifically for the teaching of English as a foreign language. The language is not selected or graded. Many, however, contain language traditionally found in the most beginner syllabus. And the advantage of using authentic storybooks is that they provide example of real language and help to bring the real world into the classroom. So very often, simplified stories represent a watered-down version of the English language and can deceive both teachers and learners about the true nature of language. Authentic can also be very motivating for a child as they experience a strong sense of achievement at having worked with a real book. The next material is adapting stories. You can only effectively tell the stories that you feel comfortable with and which have meaning for you. So choose stories that you can tell. Beginners should tend towards folk tales for their simplicity of structure and language, and stay away from complex literary tales. And you can see table 1. So what can the teacher do to make the story more accessible? Number 1 is vocabulary and general meaning. In the vocabulary and general meaning, you can check unfamiliar content of words, so you can check idioms, check clarity. And number 2 is grammar. In the grammar, We can check tenses, so check use of structure, and check word order. Number 3 is organization of ideas. In organization of ideas, we can check sentence length and complexity. So check time references and check the way ideas are linked and check the way ideas are explained. And number 4 is storyline. In storyline, we can choose stories with positive values that implicitly express joy, compassion, humor, successfulness, and other positive aspects of human nature. On the other hand, experts tell us not to be excessively concerned about violence, fear, anger, hatred, lying, and etc. in the stories. So the point is that all children experience hostility, frustration, anger, and fear. They need outlets for these feelings, just adults do. A folktale may be able to provide just the kind of harmless release children needs. And the last material is supporting children's understanding. For the preparatory work and for many of the activities related to the storytelling, only the teacher requires a copy of the storybook. This is because a majority of the tasks are based on the pupils predicting what comes next in the story or recapping it from memory. The following guidelines provide a framework to make story-based lessons more accessible. Is provide a context for the story and introduce the main character. So provide visual support like drawings on the blackboard. So identify your linguistic objective and relate the story or associated activities to work in other subject areas if possible. And decide how long you will spend on the story. If necessary, modify the story to make it more accessible to your pupils. So find out if there are any rhythms or songs that people can learn to reinforce the language introduced.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Tiara Agustina and I'm from group 82 and I want to explain the next explanation for my topic. Okay, the next is preparation, prepares for getting enveloping. Okay, number 1 is learn the story. Learning the story means to make the story your own, read it from beginning to end several times, read it out loud. Number 2 is outline the story. Storytellers agree that memorizing word for word is not useful. Learn a story incident by incident and prepare notes that will help you remember this structure. Okay, number 3, control the story length. Long stories can be simplified or serialized, but not excessively modified or censored. Time yourself during practice. Number 4 is control the story's vocabulary. A rich vocabulary with carefully chosen adjectives and adverbs give color and texture to the telling. The number 5 is refine your storytelling style. Tell the story aloud to listen your voice, your instrument, which you can exercise, train, and even change. And number 6, practice, practice, practice. practice loud to yourself, your family, or friends. You could practice on audio or even videotape. Practice in front of a mirror to eliminate poor gesture and facial expression. And the last is number 7. Relax before telling. Warm up as the situation allows with breathing, stretching, and vocal exercise. Okay, the next is about improving storytelling skills. Okay, first point is if possible, have children sit on the floor around you when you read the story, making sure everyone can see both your face and the illustration in the story. Point number 2, speak slowly and clearly. Give your student time to think, ask questions, look at the pictures, make comments. However, do vary the pace of your voice when the story speeds up. And point number 3, make comments about this illustration. When you say word, point to the illustration at the same times. Involve your student actively by asking them also to point to the illustration. Point number 4, encourage your student to take part in the storytelling by repeating key vocabulary items and phrases. You can invite them to do this by pausing and looking at them with a questioning expression and by putting your hand at your ear to indicate that you are waiting for them to join in. Point number 5, use gestures, meme, facial expression, varied pace and tone. Adapt your voice to the different character as much as you can to help convey meaning and to keep your student attention. Number 6, when telling a story for the first time, try to create a relaxed, informal atmosphere which mirrors storytelling in children's homes. And the last point is when listening to a story in foreign language, children rely heavily on their eyes to help them understand. The next topic is about follow-up activities. While no follow-up is necessary, stories are valuable in their own right, but a variety of options are available. Okay, number 1 is ask comprehension question carefully. Number 2, invent exercises in phonetics, semantics, and syntax. Number 3 is do listening activities. Number 4 is do oral activities. Number 5, do writing activities. Number 6, do visual activities. Number 7, do creative drama activities. And the last is number 8, organizing book corner. Okay, the last that I want to explain is about conclusion for our topic today. And the conclusion is stories educate, illustrate, enlighten, and inspire. They give relief from the routine and stimulate the mind. They are a great motivator for teachers as well as for students. Stories are used in an exclusively positive scholastic settings, no grades, no failures, no textbooks, no notepads, no dictionaries, no costly audiovisual equipment, nothing coming between the listener and the teller. Storytelling is learned slowly over a long time, but the novice and the expert storyteller can both experience success on different levels. A storyteller eventually makes a personal collection of stories for various occasions and purposes. Storytelling is a full art which can be manipulated, intellectualized, or mass-produced. Its magic is unique. The storyteller is always a teacher, and the teacher is always a storyteller. All teaching methods and suggestions in this article may be adapted to different grade and proficiency level depending upon the type of literature chosen. Okay, maybe this is my explanation about the last topic. I'm sorry if I had many trouble in my pronunciation in this video. My name is Tiara Agustina from the 8th group. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.